Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming such a wet day. I appreciate that everybody is here, all the chamber members, directors, my friends, people that really appreciate and work with Brazil. I would like to, first of all, to recognize and thank Baker McKenzie for generously sponsoring today's lunch. I also would like to acknowledge the presence of our dear ambassador, Landau, that is here, and he's going to speak a few words for us as well. "2023 was a highly successful year. The Chamber hosted a total of 45 programs and events, with a special highlight on the Person of the Year. The 2023 POI gathered 1,000 guests during Brazil Week in New York, which is already a tradition for all of us, and looking forward to the 2024. Following the event's financial success, the Person of the Year Fellowship Program was expanded with increased scholarships, reaching a total of 167 members or fellows. Membership revenue held steady in performance, and the Chamber welcomed 46 new members. I want to comment that the fellowship is really a success, and José Roberto and I, every time we see things that these fellows are doing in Brazil, we feel very proud. It's a program that is started much earlier than I joined the Chamber, but it's really something that we are all very proud of, and José Roberto and Valmor help with that a lot. In 2024, we are excited by the prospects of another successful Person of the Year. Our Brazilian honoree will be Alexandre Birman, CEO of Arezzo Group, and the American honoree will be announced soon, hopefully next week. Last year, we bestowed special awards to organizations working to combat poverty in Brazil. And this year, we recognize organizations committed to academic excellence, including in education, entrepreneurship, and the public sector. The Community Impact Award will be bestowed upon Parceiros da Educação. I don't know if you guys know Jair Ribeiro. They are, I think, they have their 20th anniversary this year. It's a non-governmental organization that is structured partnerships between the private sector and the public schools in Brazil. They started with one school in Morumbi, in São Paulo, 20 years ago. I remember that. And now they expanded even with programs for the scholars, the material that they distribute in the schools and all that. So it's very, very interesting. The Social Responsibility Award in Science and Technology will be presented to Amigos da Poli, the first and largest endowment fund in Brazil, which empowers students as citizens and leaders to stimulate scientific and technology innovation. Amigos da Poli, they really invest in initial technology, and they choose VCs to put money to develop probably a lot of students that are engineering students, computer students, so it's something also very bright in Brazil for technology and education. And finally, the Social Responsibility Award in Leadership Development will be given to Vetor Brasil, a non-government organization that partners with state and municipal governments to attract, evaluate, and develop public professionals in Brazil. They work with the majorities with cities and states, and they really try to train and implement a lot of governance on the public servants. I extend a big thank you to the Chamber team, Fernanda Cataldi, Tatiana Engel, Roger Landau, and Laura, as well as Ruth Phillips, for all their contributions, help, and dedication to making our Chamber a great success. I would now like to introduce our distinguished guest speaker, Ambassador Adalmio Sena Ganem, Consul General of Brazil in New York.
Okay, boa tarde, good afternoon. I'm very honored to be here with you today. And our partnership with the Chamber of Commerce is long and traditional. We are remembering, recollecting Sérgio Pereira and José Roberto. The time I was previously in New York, 35 years ago, as a secretary to Brazilian Trade Bureau, and we organized together an exposition of Brazilian products. And Sérgio sold a lot of coffee, a huge volume of coffee. So this year we celebrate the 200 centennial of our relation Brazil and the United States. And I think, and I'll express my opinion here, that we have much to celebrate. In fact, all that I will say, you know, are information that you have, but I will try to compose in some way and present a positive view, especially in this so difficult world. Simone and I, to whom I thank so much, were discussing about it. You have to be optimist, but this scenario is not, it's not an easy, bright scenario, let's say, for the future. And it's, if you contextualize it, it's, we have these geopolitical divisions, which may cause a risk of dividing the world in two, as you know. We have the world is polarized in many ways. Geopolitical challenges, as I mentioned, and a poor governance of the multilateral institutions. We cannot, as you have followed, reach a substantive solution in practically almost major issues in the world. So it's really a complex scenario. And naturally, in our relation with the United States, there are many challenges. Both countries are as well polarized in a different way, but they are. Social gap is increasing, fiscal deficit is a constant pressure, poverty increased, immigration is so complex that it is reflecting, for example, in our work at the consulate. Mental problems and situations that we did not have before. So it's a complex situation. Violence is a factor, not only in Brazil, here in the United States as well. But let's see the bright sides of both countries. Stable democracies, strong institutions, free speech, free market economies, relatively strong growth, controlled inflation, attractive recipients of investments, low level of unemployment in the United States and Brazil, multicultural countries, good performance of stock markets in Brazil, 25% increase last year. Normally we take for granted because we are used to this situation, but if you situate ourselves in the world today, these are really very comfortable situation we have. Specifically about Brazil, I would like, notwithstanding all difficult challenges as well, I see a very positive, I would say, bright future if you can manage the economy, the political side of the country, the social side in a better way or in a good way. Last week, we had the chairman or the Chief Justice of Brazil speaking here in New York, José Roberto. Had the opportunity to hear him and Carlos as well. And he was speaking about legal certainty in Brazil, especially in this kind of flowing world. Respect of contracts, rule of law, even if we question some decisions sometimes by the fact that is that the contracts are respected. Abundance of resources, especially water, peaceful region, this is another thing that we take for granted, but is really outstanding characteristic of our region. In Brazil, the structural reforms are advancing. And especially these are sectors that I would call your attention. Of course, as I said, you know all the elements that I am speaking about. I understand Brazil will have a leading role in the world in energy transition, bioeconomy, and environment. I had the opportunity to work at the transition of government. I had many meetings of the Confederation of Industries and etc., etc. And there are so many projects in pipeline. Some, for example, green hydrogen. There is an industry in Bahia that will be the largest in the world. Of course, they need the price of gas to be down. But I think that some way we'll have to manage and tackle this situation. With this coincidence of factors in both countries, it's natural that the partnership is strong. The partnership is strong, is mature, even to have differences, and I'll speak about it. We have values and perspectives in the international arena that we share, and is the main investor in Brazil, and Brazil is an important investor in the United States. Trade is relevant, although it's decreasing, and I'll speak a little bit about that. Cooperation in technology, education, and culture is dense. Again, there are challenges and huge space for improvements. One factor that I would call your attention, Brazil is not well integrated in the value chains. And this is really an important factor that you should face, especially in these sectors advanced in technology as semiconductors. The trade, as I said, is relevant, but it's far away what it should be. It's also natural that you may differ in some aspects. And I understand that both countries are mature in their relation. They can afford to have this kind of a difference and continue a very good dialogue. In Brazil, as you know, believes in dialogue, variable geometry, the multipolar world based on international rule of law. Sometimes we have to be practical and pragmatic, and sometimes it may seem even idealistic. But I also call your attention, in life it's imperative that you do not see observe the real content, not the face value of some declarations. And if you see the real content, even those differences that we have in opinion and in politics of the United States, foreign policy, I would say, they are diluted. Which is our mission? It's to work together as we have been doing all over these years to fulfill these spaces for improvement. And I hope that you all, the companies, the Chamber of Commerce, the institutions, and the consulate can work together in this direction. Thank you.
Okay, now I have the honor and the pleasure to call here one of the long-standing directors of the Chamber, my friend, also former president of Cutrale here in the US, Mr. Celso Barrison.
Good afternoon, Ambassador Adonio Senegalese, Deputy Consul General Fernando Sena. I didn't see Fernando here, but directors, members of the Chamber, ladies and gentlemen. In accordance with the bylaws of our organization, every year we shall convene in New York City at the annual membership luncheon, with the purpose of electing members of the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors is divided in 3 classes. Every year, the term of office of one class expires, and we are to replace or re-elect them. Therefore, directors of the Chamber shall be elected to and hold office for a term of up to 3 years, or until their successors are elected and qualified. The vote of a majority of members present at the meeting or voting by proxy is required by election of a director. On behalf of the nominating committee, I would like to present to the membership the slate of new directors for election and directors for re-election. Joining the members of the board whose terms have not expired. We hereby welcome the new directors of the Chamber, and together with the current directors, we invite you at the conclusion of the luncheon to convene in the President's room for the first board meeting and the year of the official board photo. So, congratulations.